And people in the town basically grow corn, beans, chili peppers. What else goes
Yeah, I
on
mean,
there?
it's mostly subsistence farming. Obviously, since NAFTA, a lot more people have been, and as the trade liberalization has gotten more and more aggressive, more and more people from that town have come to the States. But yes, of the people who stay there, subsistence farming is really their way of life.
Tess, tell us a little bit about the organization that you got involved with that are representing the community and what the work is that you're doing.
Okay, I went to Oaxaca through my law school, through DePaul College of Law. The International Human Rights Law Institute has a program there to send people to Latin America. It's called the Sullivan Program. And I got involved with a group in Tlaxiaco, Oaxaca. It's called the Center for Human Rights and Consultancy for Indigenous Peoples. They've been around for 20 years working on these kind of projects. And they've come under a lot of threat for this particular case, including this week where the paramilitaries have cut off access to the town and evacuated all the police and threatened to kill everyone. Their lawyers for this town are also under threat this week.
And Amnesty International is playing some role in this.
That's right. They released an urgent action back in early May, and they just released one again this week because the town has been cut off by the paramilitaries. It's in all the national papers in Mexico. This is well known. Meanwhile, the federal government has continued to say this week there are no paramilitaries there. There's no problem there. There may have been a problem on Wednesday, but we've solved it. No one is in danger there, which is, of course, a very scary response when it's obvious from all the reports in the community for the few people in that town who do have cell phones have called and said, we're blocked by people with guns when we try to leave, and they said that we have 24 hours to give up our, right to this land. So the government of Mexico this week has just denied that there's any problem.
All right, so this week it's going on right now.
Right, it's going on right now.
And what is the organization CEDHAPI, CEDHAPI?
Right.
And what are they doing about it?
That's the Spanish acronym for the Center for Human Rights that I mentioned before. And what they're trying to do about it is ask the Inter-American Commission, which is this international human rights body that has some say in what Mexico does, because Mexico is a signatory to a treaty that basically says you can't do this kind of thing to your own people. So we are trying to put pressure on the Inter-American Commission to put pressure on the Mexican government to do something to protect their own people. It's hard to put pressure on them when they just issue blanket denials, but that's what we've been trying to do this week. Is with the increasing press attention for this issue in Mexico this week, I think that the federal government is feeling more of the pressure that people do know this is happening, and that it's something like a 50-hour standoff right now where people are trapped in their own town.
When you were in this town, did you feel a lot of animosity between different groups, or is this force that is sort of controlling the town because they have weapons and connections to the Governor Ruiz? Were they visible when you were there? Were they, or is it they were? They
were visible. I mean, I would say more so than that group being visible. Excuse me. The police force that protects them was visible, and a member of that police force, the state police force, said to me openly, "I'm a friend of Ulysses. I'll do what I have to do for Ulysses." So I think that part was very clear. I heard gunshots while I was there. It was not very far away from where we were, in a part of the town that we thought was, relatively safe or among the families that are peaceful and unarmed. So, I think the conflict was very obvious. The group that is unarmed and opposes the sale has continually said and will continue to say, we can disagree about whether or not to sell the land. The problem is when one group gets weapons, and they're perfectly willing to sit down with any other towns that have a land conflict with them or the other part of their own population and talk about how we can work this out peacefully. Their gripe is just that they've been attacked.
Oaxaca has had a lot of action over the last few years. There's an annual teachers convention that takes place in Oaxaca City every year, and 2 years ago that turned into a major demonstration and then an encampment where the city was just basically shut down. And it's a beautiful city. Oaxaca City, or just Oaxaca, and I was there one time and did some traveling outside in the hinterland there up to Yagul and saw various ruins. I'm wondering though, with all of the activity that has taken place and is still going on under the umbrella group APO, if have there been people from the state of Oaxaca and from other organizations, progressive groups, who have come to the aid of the people in Santo Domingo in any way?
Yeah, I think that APO is a group made up of a lot of different factions and different groups, and there have been members of that group who've offered aid and who've offered, to be part of our meetings with the government. I think the people of Santo Domingo are, on the whole, a pretty apolitical group. They would be very happy just to be left alone to grow their food and feed their kids. So I think they welcome any help. I think they fear being too politically aligned with any group for fear that it will make their issue more controversial instead of just getting back to a peaceful dialogue. But they have certainly welcomed some support from members of the APO.
And what about the state of politics in the state? Do you know? I mean, I think that the governor is a member of PRI, the old Partido Revolucionario Internacional, and certainly they weren't PAN, but there was a strong challenge from the PDR or the Lopez Obrador's party.
Right, that's right. The PRI has controlled Oaxaca for the past 70 years. No other party has ever won the governorship there. This most recent election was the closest challenge they've ever had, and most people, a lot of neutral observers, I would say, believe that election was stolen and that there was a lot of wrongdoing, which we're familiar with here in the United States, so I can identify with how they feel in Oaxaca. So there is a sense that it's one-party control there, and that makes it very hard to make any kind of challenge. On the other hand, even the other parties in Mexico, I mean, as they would say in Mexico, todo tiene intereses. They all have interests. So it's not totally aligned with political parties, but certainly the PRI has had a stranglehold on Oaxaca for a very long time.